What's happening, everybody? It is the Pirate Captain here from Chef Bolg and the Pirate Captain's Recipes for Everything for another tip if you're a new DM. Now, there's a million players in the world, but I'm pretty sure there's only about 4 DMs because this is something we hear a lot. And people are always kind of weary about where should they start? How do they get into DMing? Well, I've been making a series of videos to kind of help you out and get you started off in the right direction. And today's tip is going to be, should you be a one-shot DM or a campaign DM to start with? Now, personally, my opinion, everybody should start off on the one shot. But there are some people out there that are going to be like, go jump in head first into a campaign. But there's a lot to a campaign, all right? A lot. And it's world building and it's time consuming. Ask a lot of more experienced DMs. They'll tell you that they love putting so much, some of them, they really do love putting all that time into the campaign, but ask them how much time they spend on it. And some of them will tell you they spend quite a few hours sitting behind a desk. If you go back to my previous tip of why you should keep a notebook around, it kind of leads into it because they write so much stuff down. But I think the one shot is a great way to start out. One, there's a lot of places out there right now that need them. There's a lot of adventure guilds that need DMs to do one-shots, whether it's they're going to be running modules from the latest whatever it is, whether it's a Pathfinder module, whether it's a D&D module, whether it's, any kind of TTRPG out there. You're going to find that they're going to need DMs. Now, the way our Adventures Guild ran back down in Tampa when I still lived there, we ran more like the Guild Fairy Tale, all right, from the anime, obviously, where you would get missions based on your level. So if you were level 1, you were probably taking a D rank mission, maybe go kill some goblins. If you were levels 5 to 8, maybe you were going to do a C or B ranked mission. And if you were 10 to 12, which I think we had like 2 players in our entire time get that high, they got to do S rank missions. And that was kind of the fun. You got to build up in there. And sometimes these missions would actually last 2 or 3 sessions because just that's how long they go. But it allowed me to also judge my players and see what they wanted, all right? And invite these players to play in campaigns with other players. That's how I got invited to several campaigns. I was a player in these. I'd play, and then they would invite me out later down the line. So that's how this works out. It allows you to judge and see if they want to have more combat. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're the murder hobos. Maybe they're the role-play adventurers all the time. They would rather solve their problems with their wits and charisma versus just throwing up some hands. I love me throwing some hands. But it is all dependent upon learning how they play. Now, it also allows you to learn to problem solve really quick at the table. Maybe you're learning that, 4 players with this one little one-shot, this was too many enemies. So now it teaches you how to scale back a little bit. Now, granted, you can learn all this in a campaign setting, but there's just a little bit more time involved. This is more about getting your feet wet, getting you initially brought into all these, into building a better campaign story, because you can use all of these one-shot stories to help out in your campaign. They could actually be the precursor to a larger event. Building your own Marvel universe, essentially, of like, you guys remember when you were doing this? Some of my campaigns actually took characters from my favorite one-shots that we did in our Adventures Guild. And it is okay to do that. You can build a whole world around it. You could actually take your players from a spot in this one-shot campaign eventually and move them to another whole continent that you don't even know about, that you're getting ready to create, and then it gets to be a part of your Adventures Guild, depending upon the rules of your Adventures Guild. Just going to throw that one out there. It allows you to also get quick access to learning how that quick reaction, not only to whether or not enemies are there, but learning how to adjust to certain rules. You're going to find that there's a lot of game-breaking rules that just counter themselves, but that's the beauty of TTRPGs. There's a lot of things that just contradict themselves, but it allows you to think on your feet, and these one-shots are amazing for learning this. Highly, highly, highly recommend you run out as soon as you want to start DMing. Make sure you follow the other 2 videos. I got them up above me. Make sure you find out if there's an Adventures Guild that needs more DMs. I guarantee you they do, because not everybody wants to DM all the time. I do know a few players that's all they've ever wanted to do is just be a DM. They enjoy creating worlds. And some of their best ideas, I'm going to tell you, when I asked them, they said, hey, look, my best ideas, they came from one-shots, or they came from it all. I will not downplay the importance of wanting to do a campaign. There's great campaign modules out there that you can go online and it's already built out for you, and you just kind of follow their format, and that's great, and it could work for you. But you're just not going to get those initial skills of learning how to read people at the table, learning how they're going to react to certain things. What are they going to like? How are they going to handle this situation? And it's going to help you out in your campaign. Gauging your player and seeing what they like is going to make you that much better. If you're learning to accommodate myriads of people instead of just one small focus group, it's going to help out. That is my new DM tip for this week. It is whether you should run a one-shot or a campaign, and I say it's the one-shot. As always, this is Chef Bulk and the Pirate Captain's Recipes for Everything. If you found any helpful advice out of this, do me a solid. Drop a like, a subscription, or a comment. What do you think? Should you do a one-shot or a campaign? I want to hear from you. Drop it down in the comments below. And as always, happy adventures.